New research says Kinder Morgan overestimates the number of jobs and the economic benefits of a proposed expansion of the Trans Mountain pipeline. At the same time, it underestimates the potential cost of potential catastrophes. The expansion would almost triple its capacity from 300,000 barrels a day to 890,000. Kinder Morgan has said the project would create 36,000 person-years of employment in BC. But the new study says just 12,000 person-years of employment will be created. Those might sound like job numbers, but a person year is the amount a person might work in a year, even though the work may be done by several part-time workers. Doug McArthur is the director of the Graduate School of Public Policy at Simon Fraser University and co-authored the report. So Doug McArthur, can you tell us just a little bit more about what explains the differences between the estimates that you came up with and what the company is projecting?
Yeah, let me just say first of all that when we started this research, we were wanting to have a look overall at this project from a public policy point of view. The job numbers and the job estimates that Kinder Morgan have provided and their magnitude and the difference between them and what we found in our estimates really did surprise us. The reasons you can tie to two or three things, but the major thing does relate to their methodology. Those 36,000 jobs they talk about are the direct and indirect jobs. So sometimes these are called the spin-off jobs as well as the direct employees that are hired by Kinder Morgan on the project. The methodology for estimating spin-offs uses what are called multipliers. They're developed by economists. And from what we can see, Kinder Morgan just made an error or a mistake in the multipliers they used to estimate these indirect jobs. And so as a result of that, the overall job creation numbers, both on the construction side and on the operations side, are of a number of magnitudes higher than one would estimate using the standard procedure. So
you
the
had
numbers are just surprising.
You had access to the same data that Kinder Morgan had? Like, do you know you're using the same sort of base numbers before you then apply the standard multiplier?
We're using Kinder Morgan's base numbers. So we're using the same base numbers. We don't have information from Kinder Morgan about what multipliers they introduced into the process, but that shouldn't be a question about which there's much dispute. I might also say that even the numbers that we come up with can be questioned as being somewhat high, as can theirs, because there's a relatively high amount of displacement of current employment with these kind of projects. Employees are driven away, are pulled away from other work that is not replaced by other jobs, and so employees transfer to these projects, and those jobs should not be counted either. So we've given them a relatively generous consideration even in our numbers.
And now you also were seeing some differences in terms of estimates that were made if there was something to go wrong. So as we were saying in the introduction, potential environmental damage, etc. And you think they're underestimating the cost there. Why is that?
That's right. And so what we looked at was the cost, the economic cost. We didn't look at the non-monetary environmental costs. We stayed within the bounds of economic costs of a major incident or a catastrophic incident that might take place. But when we started looking at the application of numbers to these events, we began to realize that Kinder Morgan had really ignored a significant consideration in setting the upper boundaries of a catastrophic and a major event. These are two different categories of events. And what they did not do was look at a major and then a catastrophic event in an urban, industrial, and commercial area. Of course, this pipeline comes right into the heart of Burnaby and Vancouver, into Metro Vancouver, and so it is absolutely essential that when you're assessing the cost, the economic costs, you must look at the costs not at one of the lower cost places where a major event might take place or a catastrophic event might take place, but where the highest cost would occur. And so when we came up with those numbers, we found for a catastrophic event, they had somewhere close to $350 million of economic costs. We find the number to be closer to $2 to $5 billion. And for a major event, our numbers are about $1 billion. Theirs are under $150 million. So there's major discrepancies here, and that is something that really tips the balance in the consideration of these projects. And we're not importing something here that isn't unusual or anything like that. An event could very well happen given the way the product is handled and so on in the major urban area.
Now you're pointing out that the province of British Columbia will not get as great benefits from this project either than what have been estimated. So if BC is not getting the benefit, who is?
Well, if you look at the benefits, the major part of the benefits, this is the, this is what we call the fiscal benefits. So this is the financial flows, the net financial flows that flow overall with respect to the project. So about 65% of that goes to Kinder Morgan, about 32 or 33% goes to the government of Alberta, and 2% goes to BC, governments in BC. This does not meet the Condition 5 that the BC government has established with respect to finding this proposal acceptable.
So who are you going to talk to about your findings here? Are you going to talk to the company? Are you going to talk to the province? What are you doing with your report here?
Well, first of all, let me just emphasize that our report is it's on the website of the School of Public Policy at Simon Fraser University. While it's a copyrighted report, it is available for anyone and everyone to draw upon and use. So we are happy to have interveners use it in part or in whole for their presentations, which they are still making to the National Energy Board. We think it's incumbent upon the National Energy Board to have a look at our work and introduce it into their own analysis, because, you know, the National Energy Board has traditionally counted on the accuracy of the numbers that are presented by the companies with respect to these projects. Those are the numbers they work with, and the sort of social contract, and in fact, we might almost say the statutory requirement is that the companies provide accurate, honest numbers and honest analysis around those numbers that is accurate and correct. In the case it doesn't happen, then I think it's incumbent upon the National Energy Board to undertake supplemental work, and they can take our report and do that. And, you know, by all means, I would be prepared to meet with them, sit down with them, help them understand the numbers, help them work with those numbers, as I'm sure would be my colleagues.
Okay, well, Doug McArthur, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Have a good day.